the dark eyes. Is that correct?
I was not asked. I was only asked a few questions.
Just a few questions. Have you had a chance to review your transcript? You're asked lengthy questions by both sides, right?
Well, not as long as this.
And different lawyers.
Different lawyers in a much different circumstance.
When did you first tell anybody about the sparkle in the eyes and the dark eyes? When did that conversation? When did you?
That night,
Which night?
September 1st, I went immediately to my mother's house after that. That was not in the evening.
Let
And
me rephrase my
No,
question.
let her, no.
Okay.
You can answer that question since you asked. Go ahead and finish.
I immediately told my mother that day, and then that night when my husband came home from work.
You told them about the sparkle in the eyes and the dark eyes?
I told them that she had checked out of her marriage. Her demeanor was so cold, and her eyes were so cold, it looked like she had checked out of her marriage. That is what I told them.
So you told them on September the 1st, 2010, you remember that vividly, but you don't bring that up to Detective Thompson on January 21st, do you? And you don't bring it up to this jury on February 20, not this jury, but a jury in this courtroom on February 23rd, do you? It just
There
comes
was a
up this.
lot of time in between.
Questions. I think there were 3 questions.
I understand. I'm going to sustain the objection, Mr. Morgan. I'm going to allow you to cross-examine, ask questions. But A, you have to get a witness opportunity to answer a particular question. And that was a compound question. You don't have to respond, but you ask the questions that you want, but individually.
Thank you. You just said you distinctly remember telling your mother and your husband September the 1st, 2010,
That is correct.
that Andrea checked out of her marriage and her cold demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
You did not tell Detective Thompson that on September 21st, 2010, did you?
I didn't speak with him in
I mean,
September.
excuse me, getting my dates wrong. January 21st, 2011.
Correct.
You did not tell this a jury in this
I
courtroom.
told them a lot of things.
I'm asking, did you tell them that specific thing?
That specific thing, it was not something that came to mind at that moment in time, and I do not even recall thinking back to the coldness until she came out with her statement the next month.
I'm sorry. Detective Thompson asked you a lot of questions about
Yes, that's
the
right.
marriage between Andrea and Rusty during that interview.
Mm-hmm.
Not once did you bring this up, did you?
Okay. I brought up a lot of things.
Please answer
Yes.
yes and no.
I suppose not.
And you were asked questions about the marriage between Andrea and Rusty on February 23rd and February 24th, and you never brought this up at that time.
Because I was told that things were getting better.
On February 23rd and 24th, after Rusty had died?
No. After Rusty had died, Andrea told me that they had been getting along, that they had sex on the cruise, and the cruise sort of helped them reconnect.
Now, you told us earlier that Andrea did not discuss her sex life with you.
I asked her, correct, excuse me, please don't twist. What I was talking about at that point was previously to me asking her directly, are you guys having sex? Previous to that conversation, we had never spoken about her sex life to my knowledge. I don't recall ever speaking with her about her and Rusty's sex life until that particular day in my car at GE. I asked her point blank if they were having sex, and she said no. Shana, it's been a long time since we have had sex. There's too much fighting.
And you discussed your own sex life with her at that time, right?
I did.
Okay.
To some degree.
Now, when was the first time you told anyone in authority, police, district attorney's office, district attorney's investigator, about the checking out of the marriage and the sparkle gone, or the sparkle, or the dark in the eyes? First time.
I did not think it was necessary since Andrea told me she told the police
Go ahead and ask the
about
question.
her boss. I specifically asked her right after she spoke with the police officers. If she had told them about her boss, she said, yes, I took it at that. My job was done.
Your Honor, that is not responsive to my question.
All right.
I would ask the witness,
It's noted. Next question.
I would ask the question again.
You may.
When was the first time district attorney's lawyer,
Oh,
anyone in authority, about
Is there any redirect?
There will be, Your Honor.
You may.
Well, no, I'm sorry, no redirect, but I would just
I mean,
ask,
redirect.
no redirect.
So, okay,
Yeah,
no
I'm
additional
sorry.
questions of this
No
witness.
additional questions of this witness.
All right. In that case, may this witness be released and excused from subpoena?
No objection from the state.
Any objection, Mr. Morgan?
we ask that this witness be held on call.
All right. You go ahead, come down and sit trying at this point in time, but you're still under subpoena, okay? All right, you can leave. Call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. With the court's permission, we would ask permission to publish clip 9-3.
9-3. Ladies and gentlemen, you may look at the various screens, and something should appear momentarily. In theory, something should appear. Does this one have a, this?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm hooking it up.
The transcript?
How long you known her?
Probably,
Let me, I had given these instructions earlier, but since this one's going to have a transcript, ladies and gentlemen, let me give you these reminders. I gave it to you earlier in the week. Ladies and gentlemen, a recording has been admitted in evidence, and there is also a transcript of that recording. It is the recording and not the transcript which constitutes evidence in this trial. You, the jury, must determine for yourselves what was said on the recording. Any discrepancies
since 2000,
recording and the transcript ought to be resolved in favor of the recording, all right? You may proceed at this point in time with whatever you want to play. 9 dash.
that's what it says in the email.
The third friend you talked about it with was Shayna Citron.
Correct.
Who is Miss Citron?
A good friend.
How long you known her?
Probably since 2003, maybe 2004.
So 7, 8, 9 years, somewhere around.
Yes.
And Miss Citron lives in Atlanta,
Yes.
and you discussed with her the difficulties you were having working outside the home, correct?
I don't remember the exact things we talked about, but I'm sure that was one of them.
Do you recall talking to Miss Citron about having a hard time juggling getting dinner ready and spending time with the kids?
Yes.
And it was difficult to work 7:30 in the morning, so whenever you came home, have to come home and get dinner ready, right?
Correct.
And have the kids clinging to your legs and wanting to play and all that, correct?
Correct.
And you have a husband who's home working hard on developing his business, correct?
Correct.
And he's trying to juggle his business side and having to take care of the kids and get them to and from wherever they have to go also, correct?
Correct.
Everybody's stressed.
Yep.
Now, you also talked to your friends about Mr. Newman's feelings for you, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would like to publish clip 9-1 from the state's 1B.
This is 9-1.
Correct.
All right. You may.
Do you remember telling Tammy Parker in late December that you knew who it was that killed Rusty?
Excuse me.
Ma'am, do you need a minute?
I'm fine.
All right, answer the question.
Can you answer the question?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, do you remember telling Tammy Parker in late December 2010 that you knew that it was the defendant who killed Rusty?
Somewhere around the late December time frame, maybe the 27th or 28th of December. I was in Florida. It was to be our 10th wedding anniversary. And we were married in Florida, at a synagogue in Florida, and so I was down there with my family. On the 28th or so of December, I got a weird email from iTunes.
And that's not my question. My
And-
question is, do you remember telling Tammy Parker
Yep,
in late
I
December?
told her that I thought it might be Hemi Newman.
Did you in fact tell her that you knew it was Hemi Newman?
In my gut, that's probably what I told her. Yeah. I don't remember the exact conversation, whether I used the word knew or thought.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. Tammy Parker indicates that you told her you knew who killed your husband.
Then I would trust Tammy Parker.
That's it.
Okay.
Then, when did you immediately call police and tell them that it was the defendant?
I started a draft email right after I got this mysterious email from Hemi Newman. He was in Florida at the time.
I'm sorry, who's in Florida, ma'am?
Hemi Newman was in Florida at the time. The same time I was there. For all I knew, he was monitoring my email. Knew exactly where I was. And so, when I started the email to Chief Grogan on December 28th, I had a discussion with my parents. What do I do? What do we do? Do I send this? What if he's watching my email? What if he's watching me?
Did your parents not have an email address?
I don't think that crossed my mind.
So because you thought that, you chose not to tell the police at that time?
On that day,
Wasn't it important to you, if you believe you knew who killed Rusty, to
I
tell
gave
them?
the police Hemi Newman's name on November 19th, 2010.
Did you tell them on November 19th, 2010 that you knew for a fact it was Hemi Newman that killed Rusty?
No, it was unfathomable to me. And was unfathomable to me until January 4th when he was arrested that it was Hemi Newman.
But if you told Tammy Parker that you knew who
Yep.
killed him,
Yep.
wouldn't it be important to tell the police?
And didn't Tammy Parker tell you that she thought the whole idea was ludicrous?
I don't care what Tammy Parker
Oh,
said.
okay.
What
Well,
you-
she's a very trusted friend, and so when I explained to her and expressed my gut feeling about that it might be him, and she tells me it's kind of crazy, and Mom's telling me he might come kill you because he's in Florida, and we don't know what's going on, why don't we wait till we get back to Atlanta to tell the police? Up to that day, the police and I didn't exactly have the best working relationship.
So you believe you know who killed Rusty, and you were going to wait to get back to Atlanta to tell him?
Yep, that's correct. For the protection of myself and my children, I was going to wait till we get back to Atlanta to tell them. That's correct. And so I sat down on January 4th with a list. I had not heard from the police in weeks. And I sat down with a list of follow-ups. Who this? Who that? What happened with this lead? What happened with that lead? Have you talked to this person? Hemi Newman was on my list. I have that notebook.
And that talk you had with them was January 4th.
That's right.
So the period between the end of December when you told Tammy Parker you knew and January 4th, you did not contact Dunwoody
That's correct.
and tell them you knew who killed Rusty.
That's correct.
Okay.
Call your next witness.
The state calls Benita Greenberg.
swear affirmative.